What's up, everybody? Excited to be here today. I am going through a lot of reflection because I just got a really big opportunity, pretty much. I don't know how much you guys, how much most of you know about my past or my history, but 2 years ago, I was in retail work and I was trying really hard to figure out how to earn money from home, that kind of thing. And I got into the eBay and did the drop shipping stuff, but with drop shipping, I was always just doing really risky stuff. Mostly, definitely to learn, but also to get attention. The way that I viewed it was, if I just do a bunch of crazy stuff that people aren't really willing to do, then everybody can learn from it, and I can kind of get myself started on YouTube. Because I wanted to be a YouTuber for a long time, right? And now I find myself in a really interesting position because, I've had a really good life for a while. I used to have a hard life. My life is not hard at all anymore. I have a very luxurious life in the sense that I can do anything that I want. I'm surrounded by supportive people. I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, I don't even have a car, right? But I can be anywhere and doing anything that I actually want to do, right? And I think that that's way, way, way more valuable than having a whole bunch of money, especially because at the beginning, the reason I got into this e-commerce stuff and online stuff was because I wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to work an hour or two a day and that's it. And then just spend the rest of my day doing everything that made most sense to make me and the people around me the happiest we can be. I think for me to be at my best, I need to be part of a community of individuals. I need to be one of many influential, inspirational people, not one of few. I don't like being that person in my environment where the people around me really respect me and look up to me. That's cool, but it's unnerving to me. I don't like being in a scenario where people hide their bad features and stuff. I like being in environments where everyone's just completely upfront, they're completely themselves, and everyone's got bad sides and good sides, but it's mostly all balanced out, right? And now I find myself in a really interesting position because for the past 2 years, I've been trading a fuckload of uncertainty for this freedom, right? I didn't know how things were going to play out with the enterprise store or even with the drop shipping in general. I always knew that, okay, I'm going to post all these items because I have a hard time staying involved with something. And if I just post all of this stuff, it's going to create consequences and problems that I have to deal with because I don't have a choice. And that was a recurring theme of how I lived my life for a long time, was knowing that I don't have the willpower to make myself a smarter person. I can't just will myself to do the things that I think I should do. I had to learn to put myself in environments that just brought out these changes in me, right? And being able to just go to a foreign country, right? And just on the premise of doing some kind of arrangement with somebody, but aside from that, not knowing anything about it, right? Being able to even do that in the first place, that was huge, and also a lot of risk and uncertainty. And then going there, right? Living with everybody, and then leaving, and then living with locals, and it's just, I went through a lot, and I've put myself through so much that I feel like I've cut parts of my emotions out. And I find that, yeah, I have all day to spend how I want, but I often wake up and I feel depressed. And it's just because I've put myself through so much stress, over and over and over and over again. And I've learned to be really good at it, and that's a really useful skill. But my point, kind of what I'm trying to get at now, is that I'm reevaluating things and looking at my life, and I don't have to do that anymore. There's no reason for me to continue to trade uncertainty for freedom, because I have freedom, and I'm earning enough from the Udemy course and from YouTube that all I have to do is keep making YouTube videos and keep making courses. like, say that I were to stop doing everything, I would have like between $1,000 and $2,500 coming in every month for about a year. And it would, I don't know how long that would last after that. So like, I have passive income for the moment, but in the long run, I do not have passive income. But I need to make sure that I'm doing things to make my life healthy and more balanced. And that's why I'm taking a really hard look at the way that I make progress and the way that I live my life. And one, I think I'm going to move on a more long-term basis back to Nicaragua. I met amazing people there. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. When I first went there, I was around a bunch of people who were like, they were not locals, they weren't Nicaraguan, they were just there for the event, and everyone was just obsessed about money. And I was always around people whose lives revolved around money, and they didn't, like, they used people in order to earn more money, and people were a factor in the life goal of becoming wealthier, but money was the sole focus, and honestly, I didn't like it at all. And that's one of the reasons it was so easy for me to leave, despite the fact that, you know, we were in like really wealthy environments. It was just like, I knew that all the people around me, yeah, while they were being polite most of the time, I knew, and I saw firsthand, that the second it was inconvenient or convenient for them to fuck me over, the second they no longer needed me, they didn't give a fuck. And were happy to scapegoat me and blame me for problems. And I knew that that was going to happen because of their focus on money. People who don't understand the bigger picture are dangerous, really, really dangerous. And most people are like that, you know. And so for me personally, I was like, it was easy to just be like, okay, fuck it, and leave, right? What I didn't expect was that I would meet amazing people afterwards. I had no idea that the act of leaving this one community would open my life up to the most meaningful community I felt a part of. Like, the people I lived with after I left Grind Space have, like, I feel like they're my family. I'm back in the States now, but I feel foreign. I feel lonely. I feel like I'm not where I should be. And this is how I felt my whole life in the States. Like, and I was raised that way because I was raised traveling, and then just being back here, like, it's definitely, the States is amazing. There's so much here, but so few people here actually think that way. So few people here actually appreciate everything. And it's really sad, and it's honestly kind of hard to be around because, like, most of the people I meet in this country, they just complain about shit. And it's stupid shit. Like, I don't want to fucking hear how, like, somebody bitched you out at a coffee shop, or how a customer service rep was rude, or, like, there's all these tiny trivial things that don't matter at all. And people just, I don't know. I don't want to act like, that's not an American thing, okay? That's just a people thing. Most people just complain instead of fixing their problems. That's true regardless. But what I understand is, like, I'm not happy in the United States. I was most happiest when I was living with Camila and Alba and Flavio in Nicaragua. That was the most amazing living situation that I've ever been in, because most of us contributed, and it was like, ever since my dad died, I've been kind of looking, like, subconsciously / consciously, I've been trying to find family. I've been trying to find a place where I feel that I'm loved and nurtured and cared for, and I can also provide that to the other people in the environment. I like cry when I see movies about family and this kind of thing. Like, I don't want to make my own family. I view that as really risky. What I want is to just be part of that community of other young people, and I had that in Nicaragua. And there's so much more that I can do as an individual there versus as an individual here in the States. In the States, I'm just some person. And, like, yeah, it's like the people in my personal life think that my life is great, and they think that I'm way different and really interesting compared to a lot of people. But the reality is, like, I'm pretty lonely here. Like, I'm not like most people here. And that's just how it is. And I know a few people who I really, really relate to, but it took me like 12 years to find like 2 or 3 people I love. When in Nicaragua, I was there for like 6 months and I found the same amount of people that I'm like die for close to. And it's just, I've been reflecting so much about, like, I have an opportunity now to not just have this good life, but to also catch my mind up so that I really appreciate this good life, and I have structure, knowing that it's highly likely I'm going to be able to continue to live this way for many, many years. Right now, I don't have that part. I don't have that structure. And for me, I think the best decision is to just move back to Nicaragua, focus on the community of people that I got involved with, because that is what made me the most happiest. That's when I have been at my best, pushed to not just even like just felt like a part of a home family feeling, like also like when I was around them, Alba and Camila and Flavio, like I wanted to impress them. I was way more likely to be at my best and to take better care of myself because I knew how that reflected on them. And if I take better care of myself and eat more regularly and do better things for me, then that can help make their lives better and vice versa. There's this bond, and like I have that kind of bond with some of my American friends, but the problem is that the way that they live their lives, like there's so much television and so much marijuana and alcohol, and like, I mean, I love marijuana. I think it's very useful, but at the same time, like, I don't feel that way about alcohol, and I definitely don't feel that way about just like I love watching TV when I plan to sit down and watch something. I hate how often people just leave stuff running, and then like, it's the center of the environment. There's so many cultural things that I just don't want to be a part of. Like, I want to be in an area where the norm is to all eat together for dinner and like cook stuff. The norm in my friends groups in the United States is not to cook food. It's to go out and buy food. And like, I don't want to live that way, you know? I don't want to have to, like, I know what I need to be at my happiest. And I can either stay here and try and fight those things to be the way that they are, or I could just go to a place where the people around me are that way, you know? And I can be a part of something greater than I even understand, right? Like, because here, there's only so much I can do in the States, whereas in a place like Nicaragua, like, I have enough information and access to, like, U.S. business, like, I can make a difference in the quality of people's lives there. I'm actually, like, that's something it's feasible for me to do. Especially knowing people who are already involved in like local communities. I can just get involved with all of these pre-existing stuff, and I'm not alone. Like, I would be working with other people. I would be a part of something bigger. And that's originally why I went to Nicaragua, because I naively thought that it was part of like this education movement, and that I was going to be part of this big event where people from all over the world are coming to visit, and you get to meet people and talk to people and help ease like social dynamics and help everybody be happy together and stuff. But that's not how it works, is it? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I know that this is probably a weird video, but I wanted to better articulate my thoughts about that I might leave, like actually leave the country. I don't know though, because it's not like I have a job tying me down or anything, but I just realized I'm not really that happy here. And like, I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm a really cheerful person. Like, most people can't tell when I'm like in a bad mood unless they know me, but I am definitely not as happy in the States. And I know that I would be happier, and therefore my YouTube channel would be better. That's another thing. Like I can literally make YouTube videos about anything in Nicaragua, and I'm way more unique and way more interesting. Whereas in the States, there's just so much more competition. Like I could make videos about renovating crap in my house, and they would get loads of views. Like, just because it was some random person in Nicaragua doing that, and the context of it, like, almost every part of my life is better in Nicaragua. And not just because it's Nicaragua. It's mostly because of the 3 individuals that I got close to. That definitely changed everything, because if it wasn't for them, I would have gone to the country and I would have learned a lot of information and that kind of thing. But ultimately, I would have left feeling betrayed and without friends. Whereas the people that I got close to, like, I was sad when I left. There were people crying. It was an emotional event. Like, that's how it should be. Like, if you go to a country and you spend more than a couple months there, people should be sad when you leave. That should be a thing. If they're not sad that you're leaving, then, like, there's something wrong. There's something inherently wrong, right? So I just figured I'd share this with you guys, give you some more perspective about what's going on in my mind, especially because, you know, I just lost my eBay account. That's a big deal. Definitely a big deal. And, like, I see now that it's a really good thing, because I have this huge opportunity to just have all this free time, establish more passive income, and be around people that I love and get involved in a bigger picture and make great decisions in my life. Like, I think this is a great turning point for me to stop doing things that are so uncertain, because I just don't need to anymore. Like, in my past, I was really unhappy with my quality of life. So I did a lot of really risky, uncertain things to attempt to change that. But now I have an amazing high quality of life. So, like, I don't need to do that stuff anymore. It doesn't make sense. But I've only been out of Starbucks for like 13 months. So, like, and for all of that time, like, immediately after quitting my job, I was in a foreign country, didn't speak the language, around a bunch of strangers in one environment, and then in another city, and then I left that, and, like, there's not been stability. I haven't stayed in the same place for, like, more than a couple months. And I have to understand this, because I get so worked up in, like, current events and what's going on in my life that I forget that, like, a lot of really amazing stuff has happened. And a lot of really amazing stuff has happened. And I just need to kind of give myself more time so that my mind matches my lifestyle. Because right now, like, my mind is formed by my life, and there were years spent, like, around trauma and around, like, really intense situations and hardship. And so, like, while my life is amazing now, once you change the quality of your life, it doesn't just, like, your mind doesn't just catch up to it overnight. It takes, like, multiple years for your mind to catch up to everything. And that's kind of what I'm going through now, is understanding, like, I don't need to rush into anything. I just need to be patient and look at my life and figure out, like, okay, how do I focus more on people? Because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at interacting with people and encouraging with people. So how do I have a more direct relationship with people? You know, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about now. And I'm probably, it's highly likely that I'm going to start some kind of, like, paid mastermind group, kind of like what Chris has. But we'll see. The problem is, I don't want to be giving people just drop shipping advice. Like, I want to be part of a group where I work with each individual to help them stay motivated, stay on task, and identify what the best moves in their lives to fix are. I don't want to be just giving drop shipping advice, right? I want that to be a part of the picture, but there's a lot that I'm going to have to kind of work through to figure out how I want to set this group up. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.